Welcome back to Glodoram YouTube channel. So this is the channel that this is the video that we are going to see what is the checking detail in the rebar detailing. It's not only useful for the rebar detailing. If other person come to know, okay, these are all the checking that we need to do for the construction area, that would be too useful for us to go further. So before that, kindly subscribe my channel and then like, comment also. If there is any future person like other person have information about the rebar detailing or civil engineer information, kindly share this video to them also, so that it's useful for all. This is the reason, and let's get into the video. So first of all, that we have discussed before, what are the structural and architectural detail, and what is the main point that we need to take for the rebar detailing. One is the concrete grade and another one is the steel grade, and cover detail we need to take, because these are all the things we need to get steady from the structural design. And lab 50 into dia of what we are going to use for the construction, and what are the condition for the lab, that also we studied before. Top layer at the mid portion and bottom layer we need to lap at support portion. So this is easy for us to remember one more time. And what is the main thing we need to go and for the checking details? The first things we need to get the detail for the grid area. If wherever we go and do the plan or architectural thing or structural thing, wherever the drawing that we are going to prepare, the main thing we should consider for the grid area. If once the grid area will miss, wherever we are going to study the project or whenever we start to read the project, if something grid area missing from one to another, it's too difficult for us to go further, because based on the coordination point only they are going to provide us to do the grid area. And if grid area changes will be there, and the total drawing will get collapsed. So we have to give a important, we need to give a important for the grid area things. And there is a scale also will be there, because there is sheets that they will provide for us to go in the rebar detailing based on the sheet what other person have or what other company has in their site area. So there is a different sheet will be there. For example, A4 sheet, normal people come to know A4 sheet. So like that, A4 sheet will be there, A3 sheet will be there, and then A2, A1. Mostly in the company or else a site people, that always they used to see the text what we have provided and rebar what we have provided. They want to see it clearly, so that reason they will use the big paper. So that paper size only I just wanted to share you guys. That is the name that we call A1 sheet, A2 or else A3 sheet. So this is the sheet that we are using in the rebar site area. And what are the things that we need to consider for the checking? First things we need to give a importance for to check the grid. For example, some construction site they ask us to go from A to B, and some people ask us to go 1 and 2. So and if there is any changes from A to B or 1 and 2, the total building will get collapsed. Big structure will be there, and we need to find some columns, or we need to find some shear walls, or we need to find some wall areas, or we need to find some mistake in the building. Other people how they come to know, while the information or else while through discussion from outer area, we need to select the grid only. For example, from the top towards bottom, there is the A grid will be there. Okay, left to right side, there is the 1 grid or 2 grid will be there, and we have to find the mistake or else we need to find the column. So what is the thing that we are going to tell the opposite person? We need to select the column where A and 1 grid meet each other, or else G or else E grid or else 4 grid, that they are going to meet each other. In that area, that column they ask us to go, or else there is a mistake will be we need to find. So this is the thing, the total area. This is the big structure, there is small things that we need to get more detail. This is the grid that is too useful for us to go forward. And after that, so if there is any mistake in the grid, for example, instead of 4 that we are providing 5, or instead of 5 that we are providing 8, and everyone will get collapse, and there is lot of confusion will be there. So before that, I just wanted you check what are all the plan or else rebar detailing or else architectural drawing. Whenever we enter into that project or start to check the details, we need to give a more important tool to check the grid, where it is, whether it will be correct in a position or what. So this is the first thing. And the another thing that we are going to discuss about, what are the importance for checking. And this is the thing that the opposite person asks us to go and start to check where is the shear wall, where is the column. So we need to discuss with others. Okay, this is the grid, you go and find. These are all the shear wall that you wanted to find, or these are all the column that you want us, you ask us to go and check. So we can explain the whole area, the big building. It's easy for us to find where it will be exactly. So for that purpose also we need to check the grid. And there is a scale we need to consider. I will explain those things when we are going to discuss about what is the title block. So in that area we will explain what is the scale. It would be too useful, and when we are going to discuss the things which is related what we are discussing, which is also useful for you. And if it's future, you go and search, okay, this is the thing that we have discussed. It's easy for you to understand the things which is related to that what we are discussing. The second point, what is the important thing that we need to go and check for the important thing that we need to consider for the checking. Around the area there should be the dimension with the scale we need to check. Each and every grid have dimension, because based on the dimension only we are going to provide grid like A, B, C. We need to go and see the A grid, and we are going to see the B grid. What is the distance between A to B? So that dimension that we need to provide into the sheet, and they have provided in the structural design also. And there is difference. If you are going to see A to B, there is a 1000 mm. For example, I am saying 2000 mm. Whether will it be same for another grid also? Meaning that I will say no only, because if you are going to see the C grid, there may be distance changes will be there. From 2000 it may be 2500 also will be there. So we need to check the dimension for the each grid, because based on the grid we can't able to judge the dimension. Each dimension will going to get different. That we need to aware of the dimension checking, and as well as the grid checking also. And the third point that we need to discuss, what is the important for the checking. The first thing, grid will be there and the dimension that we have discussed, and we are enter into the architectural and structural designs. As we discussed before, the both structural design that we need to check whether the dimension they have provided it correct or no. What they have provided in the structural design, we need to compare with the architectural design, whether that both design what they have provided the dimension is correct or no. So this is the thing that we need to consider for the third. If here everything will be okay, we are enter to start the checking for the rebar detailing. So rebar detailing, there is a tag that they have provided. What is the tag that they have provided? What is the number of bar, and what is the sizes of the rebar, and what is the bar mark of those, and what are the spacing that they have provided, and what is the description. For example, from my experience, they have provided wrong description, like they want to provide the tag for the top layer, but in description they mention like B1 layer, like they wrongly mention bottom layer. So these are all the mistakes that we need to identify from the checking. So that is the reason that in the rebar detailing, checking should be important. We are the human beings, we have option to do the mistake also. If we come and start to checking only, we come to know once. If still there is a mistake only, there is a problem with the human being, but there is little mistake will be come while we are doing in the rebar detailing. For example, we are going to see the slab tag alone, that we will take a bar mark as a 01, and there is a bunch of quantity rebar that we can get from the slab rebar detail. For example, if you are going to see, there is a 25 number that we got the sizes from the T25. Here some people will mention sizes of the rebar in T25 or else T20, and some project they used to mention it H20. It's based on the software what they have used. There is a lot of software that we need to discuss in future videos also. Until I just wanted to tell these are all the things that we need to check for the checking things. We need to check, we need to give importance for the checking things. And number of bar, okay, that will be easy, that you know well. We need to take a distance from the slab one end to another end, and we need to divide it by what spacing they have provided, and there is some numbers will come. So that is the number only we need to provide for the slab rebar. So 25 number it came, and after that what is the sizes of bar, that also we get it from the structural design T20 or T25, that we need to enter the tag. And after that bar mark, its bar mark is based on the software also, it will go and differ, but else by manual that we need to provide each by each. There is a 01 bar mark or 02 bar mark by ourselves that we need to provide for the separate name, like this is the 01 bar mark, this is the 01 bar mark having 25 number, and there is a sizes differ. And the fourth point, spacing important. The spacing, some of the layer, for example even the slab itself, there is a different spacing will be there. For example 150, from the 100 to 200 it may changes. From 100 spacing will be there, and then 150 we need to provide, or else 200 we need to mention. For the example only I am saying, instead of the spacing what we are going to provide. So that is the spacing only we are going to divide it, what we have calculated the number of bar. And the final one, description. For example, if you are going to see the vertical or horizontal, that we need to mention, or else bottom layer, top layer, whether they have provided the correct these things, because this is the thing only. Apart from the dimension or something, there is a number always speaks, because the rebar transportation from one end to another end they will take and provide. So in that area, if there is any mistake in the rebar, it's too difficult for us to maintain also as a person of handling the company. It's for them to handling things, it's too difficult. So before reaches the site, that we need to aware of the what is the tag that we are providing for the rebar detailing. And apart from this, what is the main thing that we need to go and check? There is a slab area that they have provided, and section mark, what is the section that from the shop drawing they have provided, we need to check with the structural drawing. Section more important, because small details that we are going to take from the section only. If section size and the plan size will differ, there is a big mistake, we can get it from there. So they mostly the client or other person, they will give a more important to the section part, whether we have a knowledge about to cut the section or no. So that is important. So we need to cross check with the structural design and architectural design also. So there is a plan and section and grid area, dimension and tag that we have discussed. So these are all the important thing once we start to do the checking for the rebar detailing. One more thing that I just wanted to discuss with you guys, we need to give a more awareness to the opening area, because based on the opening area, number of bar may get reduced or may get increased. So we need to give more important to the opening. When it comes to the slab area, there is a drainage that we have discussed before. So based on that also, the rebar quantity will increase and will decrease. Based on that, we need to give a consideration for the opening area in the wall portion and slab portion. Next video, there is a lot of thing that we are going to discuss in this rebar detailing. Until bye.